All right, welcome back to Simplify channel, my grade 11s. Today we are going to have question and answer session. So now, I believe you have your questions ready. I will go through the expected topics. So I believe you also have your questions ready for me. Now, if you have any question, don't forget to put them in the comment section, and then I'm going to answer every question for you. Right. But right now, what I want you to do is be ready. You put your questions. I'm going to start from Microsoft Word and start explaining every topic that is expected from you regarding grade 11 content. Right. So I'll be sharing with the files. I'll be sharing with you regarding the files that we used earlier on. That's the grade 11 practicals. If you don't have the link, I will share the link again with you, and then you download all your files. So I have grade 11 practicals with me. And then I'm going to paste the link in the comment section or the chat, so you can see the link of all the grade 11 things. And then we discuss them. So every question that you have, prepare them. Right. Now, I will start with Microsoft Word. What do you have to know regarding Microsoft Word? And then what you should know regarding spreadsheet, and then database, as well as HTML. But then in some provinces, I believe there will not be any HTML. They will focus more on spreadsheet, Word, and then database. So now, what do you have to know regarding grade 11 content? The scope for grade 11. One, you need to know, for Microsoft Word, you need to know the font group. You need to know, when I talk about the font group, I mean, let me increase it. When I talk about font group, I mean changing font effect, and then you need to also know paragraph. That is paragraph spacing. And then you must also know line spacing, indentation. You must also know keep lines together. And then you must also know tab stop. Right, that's about the paragraphs, the tab stop, the indentation, the line spacing, and then also bullets, and numbering. Then you must also know multi-level list. and then styles, creating, and then modifying styles, find and replace, then you must also know layout. When we talk about the layout, like even the find and replace, we have find and replace, changing the font, or find and replace formatting, and then special. Then the layout, you must also know how to change the margins, and then how to change the page setup, and then columns, with a line between, and then the column breaks, then the breaks, that's the section break. And again, from the design, you must know how to insert watermark, then you need to also know shapes, inserting shapes, and then also word art, and then page numbers. Also inserting fields, table, or images, and then manipulations. How to change different images and change their manipulations, like grouping and others, inserting fields like current date and time, table, and then form, how to change forms, mail merge. Right, so basically, these are the topics in Microsoft Word that you must know. As for the references, that is grade 12 and other content. So you must know this. This is Microsoft Word, which covers, out of 120 marks, you get about 40 or maybe 45 marks for question 1 and 2. Now, the spreadsheet, Excel. Regarding Excel, you must know the following topics: basic formatting like rep text, merge, orientation. You must also know freeze pane, then you should also know number formatting, or sometimes we call it format cells. Then you need to also know autofill feature, conditional formatting, validation, data validation. And then from there, basic formula, like calculating vet percentages, discount, and so on. And then also functions like counter, average, count if, sum if, round, range between, today or now, function. So basically, the functions are these for grade 11, the count, and then also large, small, and then if statement or ifs. Right. Then you must also know graphs or charts. So this is what is needed for grade 11 June examination. Subtotal is not part. So basically, this is what is needed. The basic formatting, the formula, the functions like this. Even sum, and then max, and that we will cater for them using the large and small. So this is all about spreadsheet. Then from there, we go straight to database. What is needed regarding database? With database, you need to know one, background and alternate background colors. In other words, formatting. Now, row height. So this will be done in the data sheet view, changing row height and then column or the field width. Then sorting, and then also calculations. Calculations in data sheet. Right. And then also from the design view, you need to know input mask, primary key, how to change validation rule or insert validation rule, field size, required, and then you must know queries, at least 2 or 3 queries. The 2 or 3 queries, the basic query, by sorting, and then also providing criteria. And then the second one will be maybe aggregate function. Then also form. Editing forms. Based on the ATP grade 11s, you don't have, for June examination, you don't have to worry about report. So the database will be form, queries, and then also the basic formatting in the table. Now, If there's HTML, which some provinces there might not be HTML. If there's HTML, there to be basic formatting, like bold, and then also underline, italic, font, horizontal line, background color. Yeah, so that would be the basic one. If there's HTML, it will be basic because most of them should be the next term, right? So this is what is expected from you. So based on these topics, you can ask questions on that, but I will be going through them, how to solve them in an easier way. So if you have questions about what I've just displayed here, don't forget to ask your questions. I think I must share this document as well. After this, I will share them and then you will have access to them. So I will check from the comment section. If you have any comment, you can put it there and then we will. Yeah, someone is saying, do you have to know mail merge? It's a guideline. It's a guideline. Solo fellow, it's a guideline. Yeah, so basically that's how the topics will be. Mainly that's the way the topics will be because according to the ATP, that's what has been covered. So please, mail merge. According to the ATP, let's confirm for grade 11 ATP. But I think mail merge should be there. But I know form was there. So we will check in the ATP together for grade 11. For term 1 and 2, whether mail merge is supposed to be there. If you check here, for the ATP, the practicals for Microsoft Word, file management, page special, and then page layout. Then also paragraph, bullet, multi-level list. Bullet, multi-level list. Template, that is the electronic forms. And then spreadsheet, that was for term 1. Spreadsheet, the basic spreadsheet. Sum, if, power, ren, large and small. These functions you must know. Rounding off, conditional formatting. And then database tables. That was for term 1. You did that in term 1. Then term 2. Spreadsheet like count if, count a, count blank, sum if. That's why I listed that. Then database formatting, table, validation rule, and others. Then styles in Word, spreadsheet if statement, chart. So graphs must be there. Good. And then database queries. Database queries. And then HTML basic text. Right, HTML basic text. But according to the ATP, HTML is supposed to be somewhere in June. So that's why I was saying maybe some provinces, they might leave HTML because you might not have done it. So yes, it is right. There is no mail merge. So thank you for that. There's not supposed to be mail merge. Mail merge shouldn't be there. Good. So it will be forms, tables. Remember the grade 10 content will also be part. That's why you see the image and watermark and they are all grade 10 content. So you must know that. And then the spreadsheet is also right. Round and others. Yeah. So basically, this is what you need to do or you need to know. Right. So that's the outline. Show us demonstration by past papers. Yes, we are going to use past papers to do. That's what I've shared the link. The link here that I've kept there is all about past papers. This link that you can get access to them as well. So I'm going to start with it. So I will start with my grade 10 practical, grade 11 practicals. And then I will start with Microsoft Word. But then, like I said, if you have any question, don't forget to ask the questions. If you have any question, you shouldn't forget to ask any question that. So I'm going to start with, let's say, June 2019 question paper. I'll try to blend these questions. June 2019. Now, the first question says, open one background. So I'm going to open one background. Right. You must verify for me if you have it, the June 2019. The June 2019, so one background. That's the one I'm going to take. If you don't have it there, I can easily send it to you. Right. So the first question is talking about the changing of paper size and then different margins. Now, if you are asked to change the paper size and then also change the margins, the easier way of solving that type of question is to use the ruler setting. So I'm going to show you how to use the ruler setting to solve this type of questions. Now, when you have the ruler, the calibrations are there. So double click anywhere in the ruler sections, double click, and it's going to give you page setup, paper, and then the layout. Now, so if the question is talking about the margins, you change the margins here together with the orientation. If it is talking about the paper size, you go to the paper and change the size. If they are talking about the layout, that's the vertical alignment, and then the section break, you choose them also from layout. So now, according to the question, it says the paper size should be A4 and then the left margin to be 2 centimeters. So you go to paper and then you change the size to A4. You scroll down and then you choose A4. Then the paper, the margin should be, left margin should be 2 centimeters. So left margin, you change it to 2 centimeters. Then the next question says, set the gutter to 1 centimeter and the position to top. So gutter, you change it to 1 centimeter. And then the position should be top. Then you click OK. So like I said, just go to the ruler settings, double click, and it's going to give you the page setup. You can solve the first part of the questions. Alternatively, you can go to the search and say page setup. Then it will give you page setup, then you can change everything there. Right. The next question. Add a cover page at the beginning of the document as follows. Use the banded cover page and insert the title Cricket World Cup. Insert your name and surname as the author and change the theme of the document to face it. Now, So we are going to insert a cover page here. You go to insert cover page. Then according to the question, we must use the bended cover page. And then we must insert the title Cricket World Cup. So document title, we change it and type Cricket World Cup. Then insert your name and surname as the author. You go and look for the author. Here is the author. So you type your name and surname. Change the theme of the document to face it. How do we change the theme? When you go to design, you will see document formatting, the colors, the font. You will see paragraph spacing, watermark, page color, border, and on the left-hand side, you see the theme. So you change the theme to face it according to the question. Right, so this should be the question, or how we should solve that question. Then 1.5, insert automatic page numbering as follows. Display the page number centered in the footer. Start numbering from the second page of the document. Numbering the page from 2 onwards. So here, we need to insert page numbers, but then page 1 should not have any number. Note, no page number should appear on the first page, but then page 2 should start numbering with 2. Right, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And again, I will show you how to also change the different odd and even page numbers. So how do we insert page numbers? Just go to the bottom of the page, double click. It's going to give you the bottom section. And from the tabs here, you see header and footer. Now from this header and footer, you can insert document information. I want you to take note. They can ask you to insert the author. So take note. They can ask you again to insert document info, the file name. They can ask you again to insert the path where the file is. They can also ask you to insert the document properties like the abstract, the comment, and others. Or alternatively, they can ask you to insert the field, like the date, modify. You look for the field name, or they can ask you to insert the number of pages. So we have 3 pages. So they can ask you to insert all these document information. They can ask you to also insert the page numbers. Like here, this question is talking about inserting page numbers. So you go to page numbers, bottom of the page. If the question says the page number should be in the header, then it should be the top of the page. So the bottom of the page, and then they can ask you to choose also a specific page number. Like for instance, X of Y or any format. So let me say I'm going to choose this one, X of Y. Now, when you choose X of Y, and if the question says take it to the center, you select, and then you go to home, then you choose center alignment. Or they can ask you to change it to the right-hand side. Good. Now, so let's say we are changing to the center of the page. Now the question says page 1 should not be numbered. This is page 1. So when you go to the header and footer, still you are under the footer. Header and footer, then you take different first page. So if different first page is ticked, it means that there will not be any numbers on first page. Now you can also see different odd and even page. That is when you want the odd numbers to be the left and even numbers to be on the right hand side. So now let's stick to the first question, different first page. And then the question said this page here, page 2, should start numbering as 2, not 1. So you go and click on page 2 where it says 1. And then from the header and footer, you will see page numbers. Then you select format page numbers. And then you choose start at. So you can say 2. So meaning you are starting here from 2. So that the page number will start from 2. And then this one will be number 3. Right. So that is how we change the page numbers. That is how we change page numbers. Right. Then, let me check if there's any question before I proceed. Absolute cell reference, we will talk about it also. Can you please zoom a little bit? I will do that. Right. So this is the zooming part. Now, let's talk about the next question, whereby it says that page 2 onwards. Now, what if the question is talking about different first page? It should display it in such a way that the page 2 will be, or the odd number to be on the left, even number to be on the right hand side. Right. Now, in order to do that, you need to take this one as well, different, odd, and even. So when you take different, odd, and even, it means you want to separate odd number from even number. Now, in this case, the first page is page 1. Now, when you go to page 2, it says even page footer. Now, the even number, if let's say the question said the even number should be on the left, then you go back to page number, bottom, and then you choose the even number, the one on the left hand side. So this is center, then we can take it to the left. And then you go to the odd number. If they say should be on the right, you select it. Also page numbers, and then this is already there, so we change you to the right hand side. So odd number, which is starting from page 3, is on the right. Even number starting from page 2 on the left. So you separate them, the even number to be on the left, the odd number to be on the right. You can only achieve that if you have take different odd and even. So take note of that. Now, we move to the next question. Apply the heading 1 style to the word or to the word history, highlighted in yellow. Now the styles, a style on the heading history. Now to apply a style, when you select it, you go to styles and then you choose heading 1. Now let me show you this. Sometimes they can tell you to modify the heading 1. So if you get a question that says modify, you go to that heading, you right click, and then you see modify. Then you can now change the style. Let's say the name should be cat code. And then let's say we must modify to have a particular font, and then should be bold. Or sometimes they can even ask you to put a paragraph around it. So you go and choose paragraph from the format. And then you can now set the paragraph spacing and the line spacing. They can ask you also like that. When you are done, you take update automatically. Right. So that's how we update or we change an existing style. What about creating a new style? So you can create a new style by clicking on the arrow next to styles, and then you click on this one, the one that says new style, the first one. Then you can change the name of the style and everything. Alternatively, you can just go to the search or tell me what to do, and then you say style. Then you can now see the text styles if you want to create a new style or any style. Right, so don't forget to use the search also in examination room. You can make use of it to give you a quick and easier way of accessing these. Right. The next question, apply a drop cap effect. Now you can see this drop cap on letter L or text L is covering 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lines. So you apply a drop cap so that it can cover 4 lines. How do we apply this so that it covers 4 lines? When you select the letter L, you click next to L, then drop cap you can get from the search, and it's a drop cap. Then add drop cap, and then you click on drop cap options. Alternatively, you can go to insert, then you see drop cap, and then you choose drop cap options. Now this one has been dropped over 4 lines. So lines to drop, you choose 4. And sometimes they can give you the space. This is 0.5 centimeters. So distance from text should be 0.5. And then you click OK. They can also ask you to change the color. Now, when they ask you to change the color of this L, you go to home and then you change the font color. They can also ask you to fill. You just go to shade and then you choose the shade color. So watch out for these type of questions as well. Right, the next question, insert a picture one item where indicated on page 3. Change the picture and then the paragraph to appear as in the example on the next page. Format the picture as follows. The size of the picture should be 10 centimeter high and then the width to be 7.5 centimeters. Place a 3pt border around the picture. So this is what we have here. Now, we have to insert the picture on the left-hand side. So here you select this yellow highlighted. And then how do we insert a picture? You go to insert picture from this device. Then you go and select your picture. So June 2019. Right. Now, how do we place this picture? According to the question, the height should be 10 centimeters and then the width should be 7.5. So when you select the picture, it gives you picture format, or sometimes it will give you a format. Now, when you click on it, go to the size, click on the arrow next to the size, and then you must take lock aspect ratio to remove it. Then you change the height and then the width. So in this case, the height, according to the question, should be 10 centimeters. And then the width, so you change it to 10. And then the width should be 7.5. It depends on your computer, whether comma or point, and then click OK. So this should be the height and then the width. Now, again, we need to put a border according to the question. The border should be 3pt broken line. When you select the picture and then you go to picture format, you see picture border. And then you choose the weight, should be 3pt. Then again, picture border. then the dashes, if they ask for a color, you go to picture border again, you see the color. Right. So you change the size, the width, and then the color as well. And then again, it should be on the left-hand side so that you see it as on this screen. How do we move it to that side? To move it, when you select the picture, you will see layout option. You click on the layout option, then you must select here square or tight. Now, when you choose square, it will place it properly. In other words, the square will allow you to move the picture around. So now we have this picture, as you can see from the screenshot. Now, if the question wants you to place a border around this picture and then the text, let's say the question wants us to place a border around this. What you do is you need to put what we call a text box. How do we put a text box? You go to insert, then shapes, then you select text box. Then you draw the text box around the picture and also so now I want to increase the text box to be around. Now you can see when I place the text box around it, you realize that it has covered the text and then the image. So I need to change the layout option and choose behind text so that it will be behind the text. Now, if I want to put the border again, I go to shape format, and then also you'll find the shape outline if you want to put a border around it. Right. So now if they ask you to place a border around the image and then the text, that is how you need to do. Right. Add a field in the header to display the file name as well as the file path. Now, like I said here earlier on, we are going to add a file name on top of each page. So you double click on the header. It's going to give you header and footer. Then you see document info, file name, and then also file path. So that gives you all of them. They can even ask you to also insert date and time. You go to date and time and to give you the current date. Or they can ask you to insert only the time. Only the time. To insert only the time, you go to date and time and you choose a specific time format to show the current time. Right. The next question, replace all the occurrences of the word Australia with Australia in red font color. Now, how do we change Australia, then we make it to be in red font color? We use find and replace. In order to do that, just go to the search and type replace. Or you can just go to home tab, you will see under the editing replace. So what are we finding? We are finding Australia. And then we replace with the same word Australia. Then you go to more. Make sure that you have clicked inside where it says replace with. Then you go to more. And then you go and change the font color to red. So you see the font color to be red. Don't forget, they can even ask you to change the paragraph around it or highlight. Let's say the question is to highlight it also in green. Remember, the highlight color is green. If the question is saying highlight it in purple, you choose the color first before you select the highlight. And when you are doing it, always check if it is not under the replace, that means you have done it wrong. If it is here, it is wrong. After that, you say replace all. Right. we can also use find and replace for special. They can ask you to find a certain word and then replace with dash or something. We can also use the special one. So take note of that. Now, still about the images. Like you see this image, I can crop this image. When I go to picture format and I see crop, I can crop it to shape. So you can crop an image to different shape. So take note of that. You go to picture format, crop to shape. You can equally also, after you crop to shape, you can rotate it to flip vertical or flip horizontal. So watch out for these type of questions, please. Now that's all about question 1. We will move to question 2, but before that, let me check if there's any question about these topics that we have discussed. The one who says I must zoom, is it fine now? Okay, zoom out. Yes, I zoom out now. So I think it was better now. Right. Now let's move straight to question 2. Question 2 will be basically the hyperlink, bookmark, line spacing, and the paragraph spacing. Again, multi-level list, table, and then columns. That's all about question 2. So we are going to focus on these topics and then watermark and others. Then question 3 will be spreadsheet. We will also talk about that. We will try to solve everybody's question. Then you practice them also. I think when you even practice this one very well, the June papers that I've shared with you, 2016, 2019, 2017, you'll be fine for Monday. Now, the questions we must open to information. So I'm going to open to information. And then the first question, remove the hyperlink from the word International Cricket Council on page 1. There's hyperlink already here. And the question we must remove. So you just right click and then you see remove hyperlink. So there's no hyperlink again. Now, at times, if let's say the question asks you to put a hyperlink, when you select, you right click, you see link. Then you can now put the hyperlink address. If they ask you to link it to a bullet, you go to place in this document. Sorry, not bullet, to a bookmark. You go to place in this document, you will see the top of the page, the headings, and then the bookmark. They can also ask you to hyperlink to an email address. So watch out for this. How to hyperlink. You just right click on the selected text and then you see links and then you can now link it to whatever address. If they ask you for address, you type the address there and then the address will be there. Then you click on OK. Right. The next question, set the line spacing for the paragraph starting with the ICC cricket up to the 1973 on the page 1 to exactly 20 pt. Now the line spacing and paragraph spacing, I am going to put them together. How do we change the line spacing and paragraph spacing? So this is the paragraph the question is talking about. Now we need to change the line spacing to exactly 20 pt and then the paragraph spacing also to 12 pt. Now the spacing, you go to paragraph group and then you click on the arrow. Alternatively, you can go to search and then you type paragraph. Then it will give you paragraph settings. That is where we can change the line spacing. So the line spacing you choose exactly, then you change it to 10 pt. And then if they ask you to change the paragraph spacing, the finals, you click inside the paragraph again from the search type paragraph. And then to give you paragraph settings, then they say the paragraph spacing should be 12 pt before and 6 pt after. So you see before, you change it to 12 pt, and then after should be 6 pt. Right, then you click OK. Now, I will take the opportunity and also show you how to apply the indentation. Now, they can also ask you to change a particular paragraph to first line indent, or change it to left indent or right indent, or change it to hanging indent. Now, how do we apply this? Let's say my first paragraph, I want to change it to first line indent. The first line indent is the one on top. From the ruler settings, you will see this on top from the ruler, you change it to the position. So this is first line indent of 2 centimeters. Now they can also ask you to put a paragraph border and shade. So when you are done, you can also use the search and type borders and shading. You'll see borders and shading. Then the border maybe 3 pt or 3D border, and then 1.5. Then you choose maybe the color, and the border should be only top and bottom. So you remove the sides, and then shading. We want to shade it with a light color, and then you click OK. Sorry, this is the paragraph that I want to place. Borders and shading with a border of 3D. And then shading it with a color. So only this one, right? So take note of that. Now, this is first line indent. You can check from the ruler settings, first line indent of the 3 centimeters. It will push the first line inside. Now this one, if I want hanging indent, the hanging indent is the one below the first line indent, which is at the bottom. This is hanging indent of 2 centimeters. And this one is first line indent. Again, if I want the left indent, how do you change the left indent? That one is like a rectangle, the one below the hanging indent. There's another one which is rectangle below the hanging indent. So you drag it to the position. This is 2 centimeters left indent. Now, if they ask you to change the right indent by 1 centimeter, right indent is here. 2 centimeters right indent. So we can use the ruler setting to change the indentation. So watch out for that type of questions, how to change the indent of your paragraph. Now, before that or after that, I'll move straight to the next question, which is talking about the multi-level list. Now, how do we place multi-level list? Now you can see here the first level is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The second level is ABC. So to apply multi-level list, what you do is you select them. You select all of them. And then after selecting them, you can use the search and type multi-level list, or we can also get it from the paragraph group. You will see the third one. This is bullets, this is numbering, and the third one is multi-level list. Then you choose define new multi-level list. Now, the first level, check the question. The first level is 1, 2, 3. So always check the number style for this level. It's 1, 2, 3. So we select it. Then you go to enter formatting for number. Here, the format, there is no arrow and there's no dot. So enter formatting for this number. We delete the bracket and there is no dot. Then we move to the second level. The second level is the ABC with the open and close bracket. So with number style for this level, we choose ABC small one. And then the enter formatting for number, we go and put the bracket open and close. Watch out for these. They can ask questions about the text indentation for each level. They can even ask you to apply the third level. Let's say the third level will be a bullet. So you go to number style for this level. Then you select the bullet that you want to choose. They can even ask you to select a picture. Don't forget to scroll down if you want to select a new picture. We have new picture, new bullet, and others. So watch out for these type of bullets and numbering. Right, when you are done, you click OK. By default, you will see the first level. Now, the second level is qualification and tournament. So you select qualification and tournament. Then you can click on increase indent. This one here, this arrow here says increase indent. Or you can press your tab key. And then you go to the individual awards and then the main. You select the two. You click on increase indent. So basically, this is how we do it. Let's say tournament is the third level. You click before it, increase indent. It will take you to the third level. If you made a mistake, you want to take it to back to the first level, you go to decrease indent, this one. So that's how we make multi-level list easier for your examination, please. Now, the next question, locate the paragraph starting with the first up to the 1999. Place it to hanging indent of 2 centimeters on this paragraph. So the first, here is it. Now this question says it should be hanging indent. So you select the paragraph. Oh no, this one. You click inside the paragraph. And then, like I said, the hanging indent is the one below, not the one at the bottom. The one that looks like a triangle, you click on it and then you take it to 2 centimeters. This is the hanging indent of 2 centimeters. Right. If you have any question, you may ask. Right. So that's how we do the hanging indent. Now, the next question. Locate the heading qualifications on page 2. Place this into 2 paragraphs or into 2 columns, and then ensure that the qualification will always appear on top of the new page. The line should be between. So we start with that one from qualifications. Up to this part. Now, how do we place something in paragraphs or in columns? We can get columns from layout, and then you see columns. Or alternatively, if you don't know where to find it in the examination, just a column, type the keyword, you will see add or remove columns, and then you choose more columns. Now, the question says 2 columns and a line in between. Sometimes they can ask you to change the width and then the spacing for the column. Then you click OK. Now, after this, they say the qualification should be on top. So what you need to do is you click before qualification. From layout, you see breaks, and then you choose column break. Even though it is already there, if you don't put column break, you lose the last mark. Right. So that's how we do that question. And then we move straight to table. How do we deal with tables. And then we'll be finishing Microsoft Word. But before that, let me check the question and answer. Right. Somebody says, is there an alternative to the indentation beside the ruler? Yes. Yes, there is an alternative. How to do it? Again, like this one, indent. You know, where you can use the search if you don't find indent there. When you start typing indent, you will see paragraph settings. And then this is the indent. We have the left indent and then the right indent. We also have what we call the special indent. That's where we find the first line and then the hanging indent. So we can also use the paragraph settings to get the indentation. You just go to paragraphs and then you see that indentation. You can do that as well. Right. Any question? If there's no question, I will move straight to the table questions. Now, the table questions. Locate the table below the heading finder, add a row at the top of the table, and move the heading finders into it. So here we have this table. Now we want to add a new row on top. So you click on the first row, and then from the table layout, it will give you table layout and table design. If you don't see table layout and table design, you will see layout and design also there. Now, with the table layout, you will see these. Insert row above, insert row below, column to the left. So we are on the first row. You click there, and then you choose insert row above. Then after that, you merge the cells. Then you can now copy the finals, or you cut it, and then you put it inside. You right click and paste. Now, still under the table design and table layout. The next question says merge and center. So how do you merge and center this one? We have merged it to center. You go to the alignment, you will see center. Shade the top row to light green. Whenever you are shading a table, go to table design and then you see shading. Don't use the shading that we have in the home tab. So light green. Place a dark green border of 3 pt around the table. So you select the table by clicking on the select tool. When you select the table, then it's going to give you the table design and table layout. Now from the table design, don't forget to select the line. According to the question, it didn't tell us whether it should be dash line, so we choose just a line. And then it should be 3 pt. Then it should be around 8. So we go to the borders and we choose outside border, so that this one will be the outside one. The question says it should be green. Sorry, the color should be green. So don't forget to choose the pen color to be green. And then you choose outside. Right. Then after that, the next question says 2/4 pt, and that one should be orange color. So we go there again and we choose 2/4 pt, but the color should be orange. And then the borders we choose inside. So the inside should be orange and then the outside should be green. So first of all, you need to select it and then you apply these borders. Now, place the table on its own landscape page and then the rest will remain portrait. Ensure that the table fits on the page. Now, how do we deal with such kind of table? We have to put what we call the section break. We are separating this page from the rest of the pages. So what you do is you click before the page. Let's say the page was here and the paragraph, the table was here. We click before the table, go to layout, breaks, and then you will see continuous section break. And where the table is ending again, or where this one is starting, we go to breaks, continuous. So in other words, we have separated this one from the rest of the pages. And then we click inside the table. Then we go to layout, orientation, landscape. So that page alone will be landscape. The rest of the pages will be portrait. So we just need to shift this one. Let's do it again. We're supposed to put this table first. This table before it and after the table. So before the table, we put the break continuous. And after the table, we do the same thing. We put break continuous. Then after that, where the table is, we now select it to be orientation landscape. So only the table will be landscape. The rest of the pages will be portrait. So you must put the continuous section break before and after the table. And then you can now place it into landscape. Now the question says the table should fit on the page. So when you select the table, you see the table layout, and then you'll find auto fit, then auto fit to window, so that it will fit the entire page. Now, watch out for this as well. We can change the text directions by going to alignment. You see the text direction. We can change also the cell margin to allow, let's say, to 1 centimeter. That's the spaces in between cells. Watch out for that. They use the cell margin under the table layout. We can also sort the table and repeat header row and others. So anytime you select the table, watch out for table layout and table design so that you can do all these type of things that you must apply. Now, how do we do calculations? Let's say the question wants you to do calculations here. So we are going to insert a new row. Then we do calculations here. So you go to formula and then I can use the function count. Let's say we want to count, so you use count. Then inside the bracket, you say above. You want to count whatever that's above. We got 14. They can also be sum above or average above. Right, take note of that. This is all about table that you need to know as a grade 11 learner. Now, watermark. You can get a question also under watermark. You get watermark from design, and then you see watermark and then custom watermark. So they can ask you to insert a text watermark. Let's say SirAntwi. They can also ask you for a picture watermark with a watermark size. If the size is not there, you can type it there. Let's say 200. And then with a color. So they can ask you to insert a watermark at the background. Right. So basically, that is all about watermark. We have covered the watermark and others. Now, design, you watch out for watermark or page borders. When you go to layout, watch out for the margins and the size and others, the line numbers, the hyphenation. If you go to insert, to insert a picture or a symbol, and then also home tab with all these. So basically, this is what is expected from you regarding Microsoft Word. Right. Now, how do we put images together? Let's say you want to combine images. If I have this image and then I have another image like this one, to group images, you must make sure that the layout are all the same, square. So now I can take this image somewhere. I want to combine that image with the first image. So this image must also have the same format. Now, when you have all of them in the same shape format or the layout, then we can group them. Now, how do we group them? You click on the first one, hold down the control key, you click on the second one. I think the images were hyperlink. Let me remove the hyperlink. So you click on the first one, you click on the second one. You must always make sure that you hold down the control key. Hold down the control key, click the first one, click the second one. If you have so many images, don't forget they must have the same layout. Then after that, you right click and then choose group. Now they become one object. You can do that with also word art and others. After this, let me say maybe I have another word art with a insert with word art. I have word art. And then remember with the word art, you can transform it by going to the word art style, and then you will see text effect, then you see transform. Then you can change it to the transformation that you want. Don't forget the word art must also have the same layout if you want to group them together. Now, after this, I can select all of them and then I right click and say group. Together with word art, you select the word art, hold down the control key and select the others. You right click, group. Now they become one. Now, if I want to change the entire thing to the shape, I go to picture format and then I can crop all of them to the shape that I want so that all of them will have the same shape after you have grouped them. So basically, that's how we manipulate images and then other shapes. So take note of that. Right. So this is all about Microsoft Word that you must know as a grade 11 learner. Now let's move straight to spreadsheet. But before we go to spreadsheet, I would like to see if there's any question. There is no question. So I will move straight to spreadsheet. There's also another question here that is talking about table. I don't need to focus on table. This one was talking about converting a text to table. All right, let's look at it also. Converting text to table. According to the question, Locate the text below the word since 1992. Yeah, this one. And then they want you to convert this one to table. So you select them and check that they have used the tab stop. I forgot to also talk about tab stop. That's the last topic. Now, if they have used the tab stop, what you do is you go to insert table, and then you see convert text to table. Now, because they use the tabs, you select the tabs and then okay. So it will be converted to table for you. Then you can now manipulate the table. Right. Let's say this one, we want to put a tab stop so that they will have a lines in between. Let's say you have this and the question wants to put a tab stop. Now to place a tab stop, you select them and then you check the position from the ruler. Let's say here, it starts at 3 centimeters. So you double click below 3 centimeters. It's going to open the tab stop for you, 3. And then if there's a line that's going to be there, you select the line. And then you set it, whether to be left or right. So the question will tell you, then you set it. And then you go there again, let's say to 9 centimeters or 10 centimeters. And then also a line in between, you set it. So now here, when I click on it, it must go to the 3 centimeters with the line. With a line in between. By pressing the tab, it will take you there. Right, or you can use the increase and decrease indent. So you can get a screenshot like this with the lines. Always check that they did not use the tab stop. By double clicking and then setting your tabs, and then everything will be done properly for you. Right. If there's no question regarding Microsoft Word, I will move straight to Spreadsheet, and then I'll wrap up with database. Now, with a spreadsheet, there are not many topics. So if you have topic that you want us to focus on, all right, how do you put show or hide button? No, there will not be any theory question in the text. This is practical. Yeah. How do you put show or hide? This is show or hide. We call it the paragraph mark. When you click on it, it shows you the show or hide. Right, and you can remove it also. Now, we move straight to question 3, which is spreadsheet. Now, merge and center. I'll put everything together with the question 3, which is 3 finals. 3 finals. Now, according to this question, it says merge and center horizontally and vertically A1 to J1. So A1 is here up to J1. And then when you select it, right click, and then you see format cells. Then under the alignment, that's where you see merge cells. Then you will see center, text alignment, you see horizontal, you choose center. Vertical alignment, you also choose center. Then when you use format cell, you can solve that question 1. Let's go there again. Use the font type Comic Sans. So you go to font, the type, you type Comic Sans. Right. So we right click and format so you can solve all the questions there. Then the next one says the size should be 25 pt. So you look for 25. You will never get 25 here. So you type it 25. And then again, change the row height and shade the merge cell to light blue. So you go to fill and then you choose light blue. Then you click OK. Now they say you must change the row height. You right click on the row. You see row height. Row 1, row height, and then you change it to 50. Next question, make use of a function in A2 to insert a date that will update automatically. That is today's date. Now, how do we insert today's date in A2? We use the function called today, equal sign, today, and then you press enter. Now, it says the date should be formatted as Thursday, 23 May 2019. Now, you can see here, Thursday is written in full. So you type 4D. When you type 4D under custom, that means the day will be written in full, followed by a space, and then we have a day again, which is only 2. So you put 2D and space, and the May was written in full, which is month. So you write M, 4 of them. If you want to put month in full, space followed by the year in full, so 4Y. So this should be the right format. Now let's check it. After getting the answer, you right click and choose format cells, or you can also use, you click on it and then you go to search and type format cells. Right. Then when you are changing the format, we use the number format. And because it's a date, we go to custom, then we type the format here, 4D, followed by 2D, followed by 4M, and then followed by 4Y. Like what I wrote here. That should be the right one. Now, the average price of the ticket is provided in K2, K1. Insert a formula in cell I4 that will calculate the income received if everybody in the crowd bought a ticket. Ensure that the formula will give the correct answer if copied down. Now, they say the average price is there in K1. Here is the average price. And then we must insert the function here. Now, if this is the average price, and then this is the crowd number, so we multiply. Now, in order for us to multiply, we need to define name. This 135, we need to give it a name. So you right click and choose define name. Then we can give it a name, let's say A. So we have given this one a name as A. Then we can now comfortably come to this side and do our calculation. By say equal sign A, the name that we gave there, times the value here. Why do we give it a name? Because if you don't give it a name, if you drag down, you won't get the answer right. It will change. So this is what we call the absolute reference, absolute cell reference. So to make it easier for you, you should give it a name, and then you can just give it a name as A, and then you can now use it to do your calculations. Right. Now, when you see hashtag, meaning that the column is too narrow, you just need to widen it. The next question, make use of the function to calculate the following. In cell E17, the total amount of income. Now, when you talk about the total amount, the word total means sum. When you see total means you are going to add. So when you see total means sum. When you see the biggest, make use of large or max. When you see the second lowest, is small. Average, we use average. And the number of times they were winners, we will talk about that, which is count if. The number of times Australia won was count if. Which is count if. Total income for England is sum if. Because of the word total is sum if. So when you see number, they can even say total number, it's still the same. The moment you see total, the moment you see number, together with whether total or not, we use what we call count with a condition, which is count if. So you must know these functions, and then your work will be easier for you. So E17, we are going to use sum function. E17, total amount of income. So the income is there. So we are going to use the function called sum. Equal sign, you start typing the function name sum, double click on it. So when it is sum and others, just select them. And then you press enter. So this is the total income. Now the biggest crowd in attendance. So we use a function called large. Grade 11s, make use of large or small, please. So biggest, large, double click on the function large and go to FX and click on large as well. Now where it says the array, the question says the biggest crowd in attendance. So you go and look for the crowd in attendance. That will be the array. You select them. Where it says K, because we are looking for the biggest, when you arrange from the biggest to the smallest, K will be 1. If the question says the second biggest, you choose K to be 2. So take note. And then the second smallest, we use a function called small. Equal sign small. Click on FX, array, you select the crowd in attendance. Array is the same as range. K, because the question says the second smallest, K is 2. And then the average income, and the question say round it to 0 decimal place. So whenever you have average and the question wants you to round it, it's better you start by calculating it next to where the answer is supposed to be. So we say equal sign average, and then you select the income values. Now we got the average here. Now the question says we must round it to 0 decimal place. So we go here and say round. We'll use the function called round. Double click. You click on FX. Number is the answer that you have here. Number of digits 0. And OK. So that you can get your right answer. Whenever you have average together with round function, do the answer somewhere, then you come and put it by using the round function. Then the number of times Australia won. Now let's check. Where did Australia win? That's the winner, which is in column B. E is runners up. Now they want the number of times Australia won. How many times does Australia appear in here? So we use count if. count with a condition. Condition is Australia. So equal sign count if, but you can also use count ifs. It's still the same. Click on FX range. You select where we find Australia, which is column B. Criteria, what are we looking for Australia? So you can type Australia in full. You got 5. Alternatively, the criteria, instead of you to say Australia, you can say star AUS star. That means it contains letter AUS. Okay, so we get 5. It's only Australia that contains AUS. Right. The total income for England as a host nation. So we have to look for where is England as a host nation, which is column G. And then the values that we are going to add is the income. So we are going to add all the income by England as a host nation. And because of that, we use what we call the sum if. Sum with a condition. Equal sign, sum if. Click on FX. It says range. Range is always the where you find England, where the criteria will be picked from, which is column G. Criteria, among all the nations as a host that you have selected, which one are we looking for? We can say England, or you can say star E star. And then the sum range, we are looking for the incomes. So you select the incomes, which is the sum range. Sum range is always numerical value, not a text. Right. Now let's look at the next question, which is if statement. Add a function in cell C2 by working in the summary worksheet and write the comment based on the results in B. So if the result is more than 0, we write winner. If it is 0, we write runner up. So we use a simple if function. So we go to summary, then we use if function. Equal sign if, double click on FX and click on your FX again. So the logical text, it says if the result is more than 0. So you click on the result value, which is B2, more than we use greater than 0. If it is more than 0, what should be there? According to the question, winner. So value if true should be winner. Value if false, that's the second criteria, which is runner up. So there we don't put another if, we just put the runner up and then okay. Right, so to be equal sign, if B2 is greater than 0, winner, otherwise runner up. So that's the basic if statement. And in grade 11, you must know the basic if statement. That is for the June examination. It's all about the basic if statement. Right. That's all about question 3. Question 4 is mostly graphs. Don't expect subtotal. There's no subtotal. There's no subtotal feature, but there will be conditional formatting and then graphs. So after this, we are going to conditional formatting and graphs. Now, so I'll open the 4 winners. Then I will try to show you some of the basic graphs. Now, final, the question says you must draw a graph using this. So you select them, and then you go to insert chart. According to the question, the chart is a column chart. You can see here. So we select column chart. And then after that, They said the chart title should be number of times a team appeared. So you go there and chart title, you type number of times a team appeared, you type it there. And then we need to select this axis. So you click on it, you see this chart element, which is the plus, and then you see axis title. Then you can type them here, the X and then the Y axis. So you type them, national teams, and then also appearance. So here should be national teams. And then this side should be appearance. Right. Then again, insert the data labels to resemble the data labels are on top. So when you click on the chart element, you see data labels. Make use of spreadsheet feature to ensure that every bar of the chart appears in different color. Now these ones, you select the values or the chart labels. When you right click and then you see format data series, format data series. Now look here, watch out for this. They can ask you to choose a cone or a pyramid, so watch out for that. You just right click and go to format data series. If you don't see it there, when you go to format, you will see shape effect. When you click there also, it's going to open for you. And then there are three options. The first one here is series option. That is where you see the cone and then the gap. The second one is about the 3D format and then the soft edge and others. The first one here is filling and putting a border. So here we choose vary color by point. They can ask you also to choose or fill by gradient or a picture. But here, this is what the question wanted, vary by point. And you can put a border also around it, solid border with a color around them, right? So basically, this is how we deal with graphs and different charts. Now, like I said, there's not going to be any subtotal, but the conditional formatting is always going to be there. It says use a spreadsheet feature to fill the cells in column H, that's the years, with a pink if the date is before or during 2015. So this is the years in column H. You select them and then you go to conditional formatting. If you don't know where to find it, you can type conditional formatting. Then you choose highlight rules. And then because there's no greater and less than, you must go to more rules. Then you choose greater or equals, because the question says before. So it should be less than or equals to 2015. Then you go to format, and then we choose filling with the pink. Now, if you don't find pink, you can choose purple. Right. Oh, I chose greater than. Sorry, if you made a mistake, you can go to manage rules and edit. So it should be less than, not greater than. Less than or equals to. Good. So that's how we select conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. Right. Now, if there's no question, I'll move straight to database. If there's question, you may ask. How would I do the count if function by typing in the function? How would you do by typing in the function? Please, that is more challenging for you. If you want to type the count if by typing in equal sign count if you want to type in full, you must type the count if, but I will not advise you. Is in examination, it is not, you must use the easier way so that you don't make mistake. If you want to type count if, then you open bracket, then it says range. So let's say we are looking for all the England, then you select the range. Then you must put comma. It will guide you here. Mine is using semicolon, but your computer can show you whether it's comma or semicolon. Then you put England. Remember, the England must be in inverted comma. So you see, it gave me 0. If you make a little mistake, you must go back and type them. So I got 5. Yeah, so if you want to type them, it takes time. So that's why I advise that you use that easier method by double clicking, click on FX, then it will give you the chance. Even if you make a mistake, you can get some marks as well. Right. Database. Now we are going to focus on database. Database is not a lot. So where is the conditional formatting? That's the last one that we did. The conditional formatting based on a criteria. Based on a criteria. Like I said here, let's say the question wants you to format only those ranking that are below 3. So you select conditional formatting. You can get it from the home tab. You see conditional formatting. And then you go to highlight rules. We have the top and bottom rules. If you're looking for the top 10 or the bottom 10 and others, but then grade 11 focus on this or the top and bottom. This icon set and others are for grade 12. So highlight, we have between, greater than, equals to. Now when you go to, let's say, greater than or equals, then it will give you equals to maybe 4 or 5. And then okay. So that it will highlight with that color for you. Right, database. Focusing on data sheet view and then the query and report. They are not a lot for database. As for HTML, like I said, the basics, you can try your hands, but then some provinces, because other the HTML was supposed to be taught later, maybe in June, and you are writing in May. So they might ignore HTML. Now let's start with a database. 5 ranking. Now, the question says the font must be set in Canberra and then 12 pt and display in green color. So this is the table. You double click on the table, it opens for you. If you want to open it in design view, you right click and choose design view. Right. So here, they said the font. Where do we get the font? From the home tab, you see the font, and then we must change it to Canberra. And then the font size should be 12 pt. You change it to 12 pt. The width of all the columns to ensure that it's visible. So how do we change that they are visible? You go between ID and player, double click. In between player and then the area, double click also there, so that they will all be visible. You click there, just like the way we widen spreadsheet columns. The next question, set the row height to 20. The same as in spreadsheet, just right click next to number 1 and then you see row height, then you change it to 20. It will change for all of them. The next one, change the grid line settings so that only the horizontal grid lines are visible. Please take note when they are talking about grid lines, the color and others. Like I said, we use from home tab, you see text formatting. Alternatively, you can go to tell me what to do and then type format cell or just say cell. You will see format cell. Now the question says horizontal lines should be visible. So meaning vertical lines should not be shown. And then the color of the grid line must be red. So the grid line color, we choose red color. Change the background color to yellow. So background color, we change it to yellow. So sometimes they can also ask you to change the alternate color. Let's say to blue. So they can ask you like that. They can also ask you to change the cell effect to, let's say, raised or sunken. Don't forget about that. Right. Make use of the totals command to calculate the highest rating by a player. So the totals command from the home tab, you see totals. Or if you don't know where to find it, just say totals, it will give you. Now, when you choose totals, it's going to give you the total row. Now you look for the column we are going to do the calculations. In this case, the highest rating. So it should be under rating. Total row, you choose the function maximum to get the highest. So the first part of database will be based on this, changing the formatting. So take note of that. Now the next one will be about the input mask and validation rule. We will talk about that also. Now let's go to the query. Create a query. Like I said, you might have about 2 queries. Create a query called QRY5_2 based on the top 10 ranking table. Now, how do we create a query? We go to create query design. Now, when you go to query design, you will see add tables. It depends on the office that you are using. Some of them, you will see it vertically here. Others, you will see it that side. Double click on the table that you have, or you click on it and say add. Then after that, all players who is ranked in the top 3 of all the areas, we will come to that. Fields to display are players, area, and country. So you choose the fields from here. First one should be player, you double click. Second one should be area, and then third one is country. After that, run it. You see run, or you can open it in design view, or you run it. Now, to do the criteria, the question is the fields must be sorted alphabetically according to player. So in design view, alphabetically according to player, you see the sort, then alphabetically means ascending. Then you run it. Then the first part, all players who is ranked in the top 3 of all areas. Now, top 3. How do we see the top 3? That's the ranking, but we don't have the ranking here. So what we do is we need to select the ranking also, and then you run it. So now they said the ranking should be the top 3. The top 3. That means the maximum. Now the ranking is up to 10. So here the top 3 will be those that are 10. So meaning those that are greater than or equals to 10. Or you can say also greater or equals to 7, because you want to start from the top to that 7, 8, or 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So you can say greater than 7. That means it should be from 8, 9, and 10. And then you run it. So you see only from 8 up until 10. 8, 9, and 10. All those in the top 3. Now, but we don't need to show rank. So from here, where it says show, we must remove the rank. We don't need to put the rank, even though we will need the rank for the criteria, but we are not going to show it. We just put the greater than 7. Right, now, if you are done and you want to save it, you right click here and say save. Then to ask you to save it, according to the question, should be QRY 5_2. And then you click OK. Then you can now close them. Right, so basically that is what you need to do. The next question says, we should also create a query QRY 5_3. All players from South Africa or India that are batsmen. Display only the player, the country, and then the rank field. We go to create again, query design. And then we double click on this. According to the question, we need the player, area, and then the country. Now, all those from South Africa, so we run it. You must close the table. We want those from South Africa, according to the question, or India that are batsmen. So when you come here, the country, make sure that you are putting for the country. Now, I will advise you that you select them. Let's say you select South Africa, you right click and say copy. Go to design view, under the country, from the criteria, you paste South Africa. Then you go to all. You type India again, South Africa or India. Then you run it. So we are displaying South Africa or India. So South Africa, and then where it says all, you put India. We can have multiple criteria here. Now the question says that are batsman. Where can we find the batsman? Batsman is under area. So again, we copy batsman. And then under the area, we right click and say paste. Don't forget to right click here again and say paste. So South Africa, that are batsman, and the India that are also from batsman. And then you run it. So basically, this is how we do the criteria. If you can't type it properly, just copy them. Or we can also use wildcard. How do we put the wildcard? Because we are looking for South Africa. We can say star, South, star. And then for India, we can also say star, IN, star. That means it contains the letter IN. And then we run it. So we get the same answer. And then for batsman, we can say star, BA, star. You must always pick maybe the first 2 letters or the first 3 letters. And then you put the asterisk before and after. So this is what I did there. Under the criteria, you just put star. For India, you say IN star. That means contain the letter IN. And for South Africa, I say star. Can say South or SOU star. Just to get an idea that it contains, so that you can be able to get the criteria properly. Right. That's all about the query. Watch out for that. How to put the criteria and how to display them and how to sort. That is how the questions will be like. And then now the table with the table properties. It says create a new table called TBL5_4. Remember, you can create a table or you can modify a table. Now we are going to create a table here. We go to create table design. Now, the first field is the number. We type the word number under the field name. And then data type should be auto number. We select auto number for data type. And the question says it should be primary key. How do we insert primary key? You right click and choose primary key. So there will be key next to it. The next one, player name. And they say the player name should be short text. And the size must be 50. Where do we get a size? You must click on player name. You see the general properties. And then the general property that we are going to pick there, the size, we want the size of 50. So we go to the field size and we change it to 50. And according to the question, this field cannot be left blank. So meaning we choose required to be yes. When you see cannot be left blank, meaning the required should be yes. So whenever you see cannot be left blank, the property is required. Required, you put yes. Right, so whenever you see that property is required, yes. Cannot be left blank. Sometimes you can see it must contain value. Now, player code. According to the question, the player code should be short text. And create an input mask as follows: 2 uppercase letters followed by underscore. Now, I want you to go to the input mask. For grade 10, for grade 11, note the following input mask character code. And I shared a document with you the last time. When you put capital L, it means letter, which is required. When you see question mark, it's for letter, which is optional. And then when you see 0, it's a number, required. When you see 9, it's a number, optional. And when you see capital A, is a letter or number, required. And then when you see small a, is a letter or number, optional. So you must know these basic ones. For grade 11, you must know these basic ones. And then when you see this one that says this one, and then also going with capital C, that is any character, required. And this one is any character, optional. And then you always be given from the input mark sheet, you will always find it on the last page. Like this question here, when you go to the last page, you see the input mark sheet. Take note of that. Always refer to that. And then we also have greater than, making it to be uppercase, less than is lowercase. Always refer to it as well. Right. So we move straight to that one, which is the player code, 2 uppercase letters. So input mark 2 uppercase letters. We put capital L, 2 of them, but they say uppercase, so we put greater than. and then followed by underscore. So we put the underscore inside inverted commas. Followed by 2 digits. Now, when you say 2 digits, which is compulsory, so you put 2 zeros. And then followed by 1 letter or a digit. So this is a letter or digit, which is capital A. So basically, this will be the input mask character code. Input mask character code. For that question, this will be the one. Greater than L, which is 2. This is greater than, meaning that it's uppercase. This 2L means 2 numbers, 2 letters. And then followed by underscore. This one is 2 letters or 2 numbers. And this is a number or a letter. So that is how we put an input mask. Watch out for that. Always refer to the input mask character code. Now, rank should be number. According to the question, you must have another one called rank, and it should be number. And the question says it should take values. Set validation rule on this field so that the user can only enter a value of 1, 2, or 3. Now, validation rule. Because the question says should be from 1 to 3, so we use the keyword between 1 and 3. That means from 1 to 3. So validation rule, say between 1 and 3. That means from 1 to 3. So the validation text will be rank. You must always mention the field name. Rank should be from 1 to 3. Don't use between again, just say from. Or if, let's say, the validation that deals with number, let's say greater than 2 or greater than 5. So you can say numbers from 6 above or rank from 6 above, right? So this is how we use validation rule between, or you can use greater than or less than. Now, the country should be short text. So we create another field called country, and it should be short text. And according to the question, it should choose from. Now, when you see the word choose from, that means we have to use what we call lookup wizard. So here, instead of short text, we change it to lookup wizard. And then we select, I will type in the value that I want. You go to next. Then you type the values, all the countries vertically. So you start with Australia, England. So you type all of them vertically so that they will show India. When you are done, you just go to finish. So there will be an option for them to choose from. So if I go there, the country, there will be an option for you to choose from. And then the rank, the validation rule, if I type 5, it's not going to allow me. It's not going to allow me. Yeah. So basically, that is how we insert validation rule and input mask. Now it says myself value in the player code.